The materials that you're going to need for this project are going to be your yarn. I'm going to be using an acrylic and a velvet yarn. The velvet yarn is going to be for the inside, and the dark acrylic yarn is going to be for the outside crown part. And then you're going to need a 5.25 millimeter hook and a 5 millimeter hook and a yarn needle for sewing the crown onto the velvet hat. To begin, we're going to take the velvet yarn and the 5 millimeter hook and create a slip knot or a magic circle. And then you are going to chain 2, and you're going to put 8 half double crochets into your first chain or the magic circle.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and
8. Pull it tight, then slip stitch right into your first stitch. Chain 1, and then you're going to put 2 half double crochets into each stitch. Just like that. So 2 half double crochets into one single stitch. Do that all the way around till you get back to the beginning. Now back at the beginning, you are going to slip stitch into your first stitch. Then you're going to chain 1, put 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch. We're going to repeat that pattern. So again, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets into the next. Repeat this pattern all the way till you get back to the beginning. Back to the beginning, we are going to slip stitch into our first stitch, chain 1, and then put 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the second stitch, and then the third stitch we're going to put 2 half double crochets. Again, repeating the pattern, 1 half double crochet, another 1 half double crochet, and then the next stitch is 2 half double crochets. Repeat this pattern all the way till you get back to the beginning. Now that you've reached the beginning, slip stitch into your first stitch, chain 1. Now this row is going to be our last increase row, so put 1 single crochet into the first stitch, not single crochet, half double crochet, 1 half double crochet into the first stitch, 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, then 1 half double crochet into the next. So you have 3 half double crochet stitches, and then 2 half double crochets into the fourth stitch. Again, repeating that pattern, 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 in the next, and 1 in the next, and then 2 into the next. Repeat this pattern all the way until you get back to the beginning. slip stitch into your first stitch, chain 1. Now we're not increasing anymore, so we are just going to half double crochet all the way around, and we are just going to do regular half double crochet rows for a total of 7 rows. After your 7 rows, here's what it should look like. Now you are going to cut and tie off your yarn. Then you're going to move on to your next color. Mine is this dark blue, and you are going to grab your 5.25 millimeter hook and make a chain of 42. Once you've done your chain of 42, you are going to make sure that your chain isn't twisted and slip into your first chain. After you've slipped into your first chain, you are going to chain 1 and put a single crochet into each chain all the way until you get back to the beginning. Slip stitch into your first stitch. You should still have 42 stitches, and now you're going to chain 1 and put 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way around. Slip stitch into your first stitch, chain 1. Now we're going back to single crochet. We're just going to put 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around till we get back to the beginning. Slip stitch into your first stitch, and now we are going to chain 2, and then put 2 double crochets into that stitch. 1 and 2, and now chain 2, and then put 3 double crochets into that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Should look like that. Skip 2 stitches, then slip stitch into the next stitch. Skip 2 more stitches, so 1, 2, and put 3 double crochets into that stitch. 2 and 3, chain 2, and put 3 more double crochets into that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. You will keep doing this all the way around. I will show you where to go when you get to the end. So in total you should have 7 peaks. Your pattern is going to end on a skip 2 slip stitch, and then there's going to be 2 stitches left, and you're just going to slip stitch right here into your chain. So slip stitch, and then you're going to slip stitch into each stitch up until you get to the chain 2. You're going to slip stitch in there, and then you are going to take your hat part and slip this on, just like this. And then you are going to chain 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, and 13. Now you're going to come up to the top of the hat, and in between your first 8 stitches in the beginning, so in between the stitches, you're going to go in, and then you're going to go out the very top and make a slip stitch, then chain 1, and then you're going to skip the chain, and then this is your slip stitch. Then you're just going to go into this chain right here and make a single crochet, and single crochet all the way down. Once you've gotten all the way down the chain, you are going to slip back into the main crown piece, into that chain 2 space. Then continue to put a slip stitch into each stitch. Whoops. All the way over to the next peak, and you are going to do the same thing. Chain 13. Go up to the top of the hat, insert between the stitches and up through the middle, very top, slip stitch, chain 1, don't go into these 2, it's your slip stitch and chain 1, and then just single crochet down the chain. Then you're just going to repeat this all the way around till you get to the very last peak. After you've gone all the way around, here's what it should look like. Now to finish it off, you are going to slip stitch into last row slip stitch, and then you're going to cut a long tail, because that's what you're going to use to sew on the bottom of your crown, and then just tie it off. And take your needle and thread it. And then you are going to either weave in your ends, or you can just tuck them into the top. Just like that. Now you can adjust it before you start sewing, but this looks pretty good, so I want to keep it here. Then you are just going to push it through the blue up to the stitch and then pull it through. And then I think this is called a whip stitch. You just do this and sew them together. Continue to sew it together all the way around. Now the last step is going to be to decorate it. Probably my favorite step. Here's one that I've already completed. What I typically do is put a big blingy circle up at the top, and then I put some small beads here, and then I put some shiny beads here. What I normally would do is put something like this, but the top was gold, so I couldn't do that. It would look funny to have gold and silver, but here is how it should turn out. If you have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.